everyone, to Act 2, Scene 4 of Romeo and Juliet. Your instructions are always the same. Watch it through, see what you can figure out based upon the language used, based upon the performances of the actors, and then watch it through a second time, following along with the text so that you can gain a deeper understanding. And as always, when we're done reading, we're going to talk a little bit. So here we go. Act 2, Scene 4, a street. Enter Benvolio and Mercutio.
Where the devil should this Romeo be? Came he not home tonight?
Not to his father's. I spoke with his man.
Ah, that same pale, hard-hearted wench, that Rosaline, torments him so that he will sure run mad.
Tybalt, the kingsman of old Capulet, hath sent a letter to his father's house.
Oh, a challenge on my life.
Romeo will answer it.
Any man that can write may answer a letter.
Nay, he will answer the letter's master, how he dares being dared.
Alas, poor Romeo, he is already dead, stabbed with a white wench's black eye, shot through the ear with a love song, the very pin of his heart cleft with the blind bow boy's butt shaft. And is he a man to encounter Tybalt?
Why, what is Tybalt?
Oh, more than Prince of Cats, I can tell you. Oh, he is the courageous captain of compliments. He fights as you sing prick songs. Keeps time, distance, and proportion. Rests me his minim rest. 1, 2, and a third in your bosom. The very butcher of a silk button. A duelist. A duelist. A gentleman of the very first house. Of the first, the second cause. Ah, the immortal passado. The punto reverso. The high.
The what?
The pox of such antic, lisping, affecting fantasticos, these new tuners of accents. By Jesu, a very good blade, a very tall man, a very good whore. Why, is not this a lamentable thing, grandsire, that we should be thus afflicted with these strange flies, these fashion-mongers, these perdonomies, who stand so much on the new form that they cannot at ease on the old bench? Oh, their bones, their bones.
Enter Romeo.
Here comes Romeo, here comes Romeo.
With his roe, like a dried herring, flesh, flesh, how art thou fishified? Now is he for the numbers that Petrarch flowed in. Laura to his lady was but a kitchen wench. Mary, she had a better love to berhyme her. Dido, a dowdy. Cleopatra, a gypsy. Helen and Hero, Hildings and harlots. Thisbe, a grey eye or so, but not to the purpose. Signor Romeo, bonjour. There's a French salutation to your French slop. Thou gave us the counterfeit fairly last night.
Good morrow to you both. What counterfeit did I give you?
The ship, sir, the slip. Can you not conceive?
Pardon, good Mercutio. My business was great, and in such a case as mine, a man may strain courtesy.
That's as much as to say, such a case as yours constrains a man to bow in the hams.
Meaning to curtsy.
Thou hast most kindly hit it.
A most courteous exposition.
Nay, I am the very pink of courtesy.
A pink for flower.
Right.
Why then is my pump well flowered?
Well said. Follow me to this jest now, till thou hast worn out thy pump, that when the single sole of it is worn, the jest may remain after the wearing, sole singular.
Oh, single-souled jest, solely singular for the singleness.
Come between us, Benvolio. Oh, good Benvolio, my wits faint.
Swits and spurs, or I'll cry a match.
Nay, if thy wits run the wild goose chase, I have done, for thou hast more of the wild goose chase in one of thy wits than I am sure I have in my whole 5. Was it with you there for the goose?
Thou wast never with me for anything when thou wast not there for the goose.
I will bite thee by the ear for that jest.
Nay, good ghost, bite not.
Thy wit is a very bitter sweeting. It is a most sharp sauce.
And it is not then well served into a sweet goose?
Oh, here's a wit of cheverel that stretches from an inch narrow to an ell broad.
I stretch it out for that sword broad, which, added to the goose, proves thee far and wide a broad goose.
Why, is not this better now than groaning for love? Now art thou sociable, now art thou Romeo, now art thou what thou art, by art as well as by nature. For this driveling love is like a great natural that runs lolling up and down to hide his bauble in a hole.
Ah, yes. Stop there, stop there!
Thou desirest me to stop in my tale against the hair.
Thou wouldest else have made thy tail large.
Oh, thou art deceived. I would have made it short, for I was come to the whole depth of my tale, and I meant, indeed, to occupy the argument no longer.
Here is goodly gear.
Oh, a sail. A sail.
Two, a shirt, and a smock.
Peter!
Oh, I'm Peter here. Anon!
My fan, Peter.
Good Peter, to hide her face, for her fan's the fairer face.
God ye good morrow, gentlemen.
God ye good den, fair gentlewoman.
Is it good den?
But 'tis no less, I tell you, for the bawdy hand of the dial is now upon the prick of the noon.
Out upon you! What a man are you?
One gentlewoman that God hath made for himself to mar.
By my troth, it is well said. For himself to mar, quoth they. Gentlemen, can any of you tell me where I may find the young Romeo?
Oh, I can tell you, but young Romeo will be older when you have found him than he was when you sought him. I am the youngest of that name, for fault of a worse.
You say well.
Yea, is the worst well? Very well took in faith, wisely, wisely.
If you be he, sir, I desire some confidence with you.
She will indict him to some supper.
A bawd, a bawd, a bawd.
Oh.
So ho.
What hast thou found?
No hair, sir, unless a hair, sir, in a lentil pie, that is something stale and whore ere it be spent. An old hair whore, and an old hair whore is very good meat in Lent. But a hair that is whore is too much for a score, when it whore ere it soon be bent. Romeo, will you come to your father? We'll to dinner thither.
I will follow you.
Ah, farewell, ancient lady, farewell. Lady,
Oh.
lady.
Marry farewell. I pray you, sir, what saucy merchant was this that was so full of his ropery?
A gentleman, nurse, that loves to hear himself talk and will speak more in a minute than he will stand into a month.
And to speak anything against me, well, I'll take him down, and we're lustier than he is, and 20 such jacks. And if I cannot, I'll find those that shall. Scurvy knave! I am none of his flirt gills. I am none of his skeins mates, and thou must stand by too and suffer every knave to use at me with his pleasure.
I saw no man use you a pleasure. If I had, my weapon should quickly have been out, I warrant you. I dare draw as soon as another man, if I see occasion in a good quarrel, and the law on my side.
Now, afore God, I am so vexed that every part about me quivers. Oh, scurvy knave! Pray you, sir, a word. And as I told you, my young lady bade me inquire you out. And what she bade me say, I will keep to myself. But first let me tell ye, if ye should lead her into a fool's paradise, as they say, it were a very gross kind of behavior, as they say, for the gentlewoman is young, and therefore, if you should deal double with her, truly it were an ill thing to be offered to any gentlewoman, and a very weak dealing.
Nurse, please commend me to thy lady and mistress. I protect unto thee.
Good heart. And of faith, I will tell her as much. Lord, Lord, she would be a joyful woman.
What wilt thou tell her, nurse? Thou dost not mark me.
Well, sir, I will tell her that you do protest, which, as I take it, is a gentlemanlike offer.
Bid her devise some means to come to Shrift this afternoon, and there she shall, at Friar Lawrence's cell, be shrived and married. Here is for thy pains.
No, No, truly, sir, not a penny.
Go to, I say you shall.
This afternoon, sir. Well, she shall be there.
And stay, good nurse, behind the abbey wall. Within this hour my man shall be with thee, and bring thee cords made like a tackled stair, which to the high top gallant of my joy must be my convoy in the secret night. Farewell, be trusty, and I'll quit thy pains. Farewell, commend me to thy mistress.
Now God in heaven bless thee. Hark you, sir.
What sayest thou, my dear nurse?
Is your man's secret? Did you ne'er hear say, two may keep counsel, putting one away?
I warrant thee, my man is as true as steel.
Well, sir, my mistress is the sweetest lady. Lord, when 'twas a little prating thing. Oh, there's this nobleman in town, one Paris, that would fain lay knife aboard. But she, good soul, had as lief see a toad, a very toad, as see him. I anger her sometimes and tell her that Paris is the proper man. But I'll warrant you, when I say so, she looks as pale as any cloud in the versal world. Doth not Rosemary and Romeo both begin with the same letter?
Aye, nurse. What of that? Both with an R.
Oh, mocker! That's the dog's name. R is for the... No, I know it begins with some other letter. And she hath the prettiest centennious of it, of you, and Rosemary, that it would do you good to hear it.
Commend me to thy lady.
1,000 times. Peter!
Anon!
Peter, take my fan and go before and space.
Okay, guys, great. All right, so let's talk a little bit. So this scene is kind of in three parts. So you've got Romeo and his buddies, and in the middle you've got the buddies teasing the nurse, and at the end you've got the nurse with Romeo. So let's talk about the first part.
Okay.
There's a lot of wordplay there. What do you make of that? Who wants to take that?
Well, I mean, I think this is the first time you get to see them in their element. You know, and I think this is what they do. I mean, Mercutio is very smart and likes to use words, likes to, you know, play around. And so, yeah, I think you get to see them bantering back and forth. And also, he's still sort of trying to get his friend out of this, you know. He doesn't know about Juliet. From all he knows, Romeo's still, like, you know, pining over Rosaline. So this is, you know, he's still trying to get, you know, come on, forget this girl. Let's go. Let's make this happen. Come on, you know, shake her off. And then when he sees that his friend's actually back, you know, he's enjoying himself. He's happy. You know, he's pleased.
So the wordplay is a lot of just them goofing around. It shows their relationship. It shows their personalities. There's not a whole lot of meaning in the words themselves.
Not necessarily.
But rather just the playing with them.
I think especially for that part. I mean, or before that, you know, we get to hear about Tybalt. So that I think is more important. Like, you know, when we actually hear about Tybalt and he's a great fighter, and I mean, just plot wise, you know, like he's still mad, he's still sore, he's not letting it go. And, you know, obviously later on we find out that doesn't really work out really well for me, from Mercutio. So it's sort of like, I mean, it's slight foreshadowing about that. It's like, oh yeah, he's a great swordsman, he's good. I'm not scared of him, you know,
right.
You know, but it's sort of like, oh, he's, you know, Tybalt's not a joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but still, you know, but he still hangs around with, you know, losers, basically.
All right.
That's
good.
what that's about.
So when the nurse comes in, what's happening there, guys? Like, what are you...
I'm gonna let him take this one.
What's happening there?
You're talking to me?
Yes, I'm talking to you.
Me, my poor Mercutio. Listen, here comes. I mean, they're all together, and here comes this, you know, older woman, who obviously from afar we already could tell is like, oh, she's something. Something's up with this lady. I'm like, a sail, a sail. So obviously she's wearing something, billowing. She's like, what is this? And it's like, what is going on?
That is so funny because that's exactly how I saw it.
Exactly.
Because you know she's got probably like garments that are waving in the breeze. And she's out of breath. And
Right? She's running.
she's
like all these, like,
exactly. Sounds like a steamship coming in, you know? And then he's like, what? And he's all over it.
Yeah, of course. It's like easy target.
Yeah, exactly. I was an easy target. I had a big bullseye on my face, and you know, and he took advantage of it, and he's making fun of me. Damn it!
Oh, absolutely.
And you get all worked up, like you take the bait without question. You just get all.
Yes, I get ticked quickly. Yep. Yes. Like,
all right. So when that
do this?
What?
It was like, who are you to make fun of me?
Yeah.
How do you know? You know, like that kind of thing.
And then they leave, and then it's just Romeo. You're on mute, so just so when you start talking, we can hear you.
Okay.
So then it's Romeo and the nurse. So after all that happens, Nursey, are you having any negative feelings about Romeo per se at this point, or like what's happening with you?
I do believe, like in the beginning, like the very beginning, like, oh, she is so ticked off that, and we see a lot of that happening now, where you get clumped with the people that you're with. You know, if you're next to a Weisenheimer, you're going to be assumed to be a Weisenheimer. And I think it's like, oh, you know what? No, like she's like already bundled him with Mercutio, and it's a no-go. And then she sees the love in his eyes, and it snaps her back to, okay. And then she presents it like, you know, are your feelings for real? Because if they're not real, then that is very ungentlemanlike, and that is not fair. So if you plan on just being with her now, and this is just a slight thing, then, oh no, it's not gonna work. I will stop this from going down. And when she sees that that's not what he's about, that he does have honest intentions, I think it sways her again to, oh, okay, this is why you were here. This is why, you know, you have to let him know what Juliet feels like. It's a snapback. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Romeo, so what are your concerns here at this point with the nurse?
Well,
What do you
okay,
want to know?
so
What do you want to tell her?
oh, sorry, I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
Oh, I said, what do you want to know at this point, and what do you want to tell her at this point? At the
okay.
end of the scene when you're with her.
So what do I want her, you know, I want her to tell Juliet, hey, meet me at, what is it, at Friar Lawrence's cell, right? I want her to meet me at Friar Lawrence's cell tomorrow morning, so that we can, like, get married. And it's hard just with the format of the Zoom play itself, because I was trying to figure out how to play it like Romeo doesn't recognize her at first.
Yeah.
And sort of figures and has like an oh crap moment later. And I don't know how well that plays over Zoom, if it does at all, but
well, you said it, so that was your intention.
But you know, he's just trying to, you know, he gets a little just during the scene, he's with his buddy and he gets a little rowdy, even though his buddy's definitely a little rowdier. You know, the nurse brings up like, well, why didn't you stop him? You know, like it would be gentlemanlike to have stopped your buddy there. And it's like, well, I didn't recognize you, otherwise I would have. But so yes, the long and short of it is I want her to tell Juliet to meet me tomorrow.
Okay. All right. So is there anything else that anybody wants to add at this point? Anything we missed? I think we covered everything.
I think it's also very important, though, here, because the nurse makes sure that she asks, can this guy be trusted? So I think it is also the introduction then to exactly what Romeo feels towards the friar and towards anyone else that would be like, How much do you trust this person? Because her line is, haven't you ever heard? You know, a secret is no longer a secret when more than one person knows.
Yeah.
So do you trust this person enough to keep your secret? And I think it is so important that, you know, you get Romeo's response with my life. I would trust him, you know, pretty much with my life. So I really think that is such an important introduction to that character come later.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, you guys. Well done. Good job. Those of you watching, see you on the next video. And